Today we're making a variation of Ayam Geprek or Ayam Penyet, a crispy Indonesian fried chicken dish served with a spicy sambal sauce. After a couple of failed experiments, I personally think this method is the easiest and the most foolproof and anti-fail recipe, so yeah, let's do this! First things first, we're going to prepare the chicken marinade. We're going to be needing 1 onion. Just roughly chop it into quarters, just like this. As well as 1 garlic clove. Now you don't have to chop this up. Next, you need galangal or blue ginger. You can replace this with ginger if you can't find galangal. You just need a couple of slices, just like this much. Give this a rough chop as well. Now add all of this to your blender or food processor. And then add 1 teaspoon of salt as well as 1 teaspoon of sugar. Next, add in half a teaspoon of turmeric. I'm using the powder form here. Now, turmeric really stains, so I would actually recommend that you add this separately if you don't want this to stain your food processor, because it stained mine. Anyway, blend this marinade together so that you will get something like this. I have 2 chicken thighs here, but this marinade is good for half a chicken. This is the second time that I'm making this, so I'm actually adding the turmeric separately because, like I said, I did not want to stain my food processor yet again. Also, it will really help to use a metal or glass bowl to do your marinating and mixing with this because it won't stain like plastic would. It would also help to use gloves like I do here, unless you want yellow fingers. Anyway, massage the marinade onto your chicken, give it a nice little massage spa time. Anyway, yeah, that's it. Transfer your chicken in a pot, just like this, and then add 1 liter of chicken stock. I cheated here and just used bouillon cubes, it's fine. Now let it heat to a rolling boil, and once it boils, turn it down to a simmer. We're going to let the chicken finish cooking by boiling it this way. Now I'm also going to be adding some bay leaves here because I remember that I have some, but it's totally optional. You don't have to add this in if you don't have bay leaves. It would really help if your stock actually covers the chicken, but if it doesn't, like mine right here, then just flip it over halfway, just like this, just to make sure it gets an even boiling all the way through. Now we're going to let this boil for at least 15 minutes or so, but you can basically cook it for as long as you want. Meanwhile, let's prepare the rest of the dish, such as the sambal. Now the sambal is probably the most crucial component to this dish, and it's actually incredibly easy to make, okay? So you're going to need 10 stalks of these big red chilies, as well as 10 stalks of these cute little Thai bird's eye chilies or chili padi, which is actually 10 times spicier than the big chilies. You want to chop up the big chilies roughly just like this. And then with the chili padis, you can just remove the stem like this. So depending on how spicy you like your sambal to be, feel free to add more of the chili padi. You'll also need a tiny amount of onion, like 1 shallot, or if you have a whole onion like I do here, so just a quarter of it, like this much. As well as a little bit of garlic, just 1, that's all you need. And then we're going to fry all of those ingredients in some oil. We are basically going to be cooking all of these ingredients. Fry until they cook, or just until the chili skin wilts and blisters like this. Do the same with the onions and garlic, not too long, just until you smell the fragrance. Okay, the fun part. Now you can use a mortar and pestle. It is more traditional, but you know what? I am incredibly lazy, so I'm just gonna be using a blender. Hello, my food processor, my current best friend. Yeah, I love you. Anyway, add all of the ingredients to the blender. Like this. To that, add in 2 teaspoons of sugar as well as 2 teaspoons of salt to taste. And then blitz away. Now be careful to not add too much onions or garlic, otherwise it's going to result in a white sambal rather than a red one. And ta-da! That is your sambal. Keep that to one side. You want just a rough consistency just like this. This is perfect, okay? Okay, back to the chicken. By now, the chicken should have cooked fully, so let's make the batter for frying. But first, let me just cut up some firm tofu here. Just cut this up into cubes like this. You can also add tempeh with this as well, but I'm just going to stick to firm tofu this time round. Okay, the batter. In a bowl, add in half a cup of rice flour, 1 teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of sugar, as well as 1 teaspoon of white pepper. To that, add 1 egg, and about 1 cup of the chicken broth that we use to boil the chicken in. Stir all of that up together until you get this sort of consistency. Okay, take your cooked chicken and then just dip it in the batter. Along with that, I'm going to add a couple of the tofu cubes as well. Just get it all nice and covered with the batter. And then we fry the chicken. That's it. Now this should be really quick. The chicken is already cooked, so all you're achieving here is that crispy chicken skin and that golden, gorgeous brown color. You know it's done when you can knock your spatula thing against the skin and it should be a really nice solid tap. Anyway, take it off once the chicken is crispy. Now this is why I prefer the boiling method first, because you don't have to worry if your chicken is cooked inside already or not when you're deep frying it. This is just so easy. With the extra batter, we're going to be making crispies. Just scoop some batter with your spoon and just drip it into the oil like this. Just until it browns and then you're done. Now when I order it at the shops, I like to ask for extra of these crispy little leftover batter bits. I find the crispiness of these batter bits with the soft rice just a magical combination. Okay, let's plate this. I have some hot piping rice here. We're just gonna prop the chicken on top. And then slathering the chicken with all that beautiful spicy sambal. Or you can just serve the sambal at the side. At the shops, they would actually mash the chicken with the sambal with a mortar and pestle. You can do that if you want to, but I just find it not necessary this time around because the chicken kind of breaks apart super easily anyway because it's so soft and moist on the inside. As a final touch, I like to add a couple of slices of cucumbers just to offset the spiciness of the sambal. And then you remember that chicken broth that you used to boil the chicken in? That's your soup. Please trust me when I say this is actually really easy to recreate at home, and it uses the most minimal ingredients possible without losing that amazing taste. And also, this is my current favorite of making crispy fried chicken because it's kind of a guaranteed sure thing. So yeah, please give this a try, and yep, bye!